Way back in 2003 at the Detroit Auto Show, Chevrolet introduced the new Equinox. In 2004, it was released as a 2005 year model, and the Equinox was out for the market. For the time, it was a decent looking vehicle, exterior and interior. But since that time, there have been 3 other generations of the Equinox produced in America. Since the beginning, the Equinox had all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive as an option. During that same time, the Pontiac Touran was out from 2005 to 2009, and they introduced the GMC Terrain in 2010. This vehicle was intended to replace the Chevy Tracker and the S10 Blazer platforms. Today on Reviews It, the 2025 Chevrolet Equinox LT two-wheel drive with the safety technology option. Hello, I'm Todd Cotta and welcome to Reviews It. Remember to subscribe below. Normally we do gun reviews, but today we're going to be doing something a little different. Car review, and we've done a few of those in the past, some of my trucks and my daughter's car, and now I have another one for you today. The 2025 Equinox from Chevrolet. Now, let's talk about this real quick. For many, many years, I just showed you the pictures in the intro, Chevrolet was content with rental cars and fleet cars. They were content with just having average. But in the last few years, they've been upping their game. For example, Car and Driver just said that the Chevrolet Trax for 2025 is still one of their 10 best cars and the best in the segment for those small SUVs. So Chevrolet is doing something now, and they're really pushing forward when it comes to the style and what's going on with their design themes. And here it is right here, guys. The 2025 Chevrolet Equinox. And if you remember, going way back to the 2008, where it was a tiny, tiny car, and it's a whole lot different these days. When you're going around the outside of this car, you can see the accents, you can see the design theme that General Motors is using for the Trax, for the Traverse, for the Trailblazer, or for this car right here, the Equinox. They have consolidated the look and then made the tiers of the cars. Now, is there too many cars in that little space right now? Yeah, it could be right now, because this is showing a little bit of slow sales to come off. But when you've got something like, for example, that car sitting right over there, a Chevrolet Trax, the new one, like my daughter's, it's a direct competitor now with this one. Now, this one is substantially bigger than the Trax, but the style theme has gone across. Made in Canada, this car here retails right at about $30,000 to start, $28,900 plus options to start, and then it goes up to about $33,000 in two-wheel drive. And one of the great things about this vehicle is that something that you can't get in the Trax. You can't get all-wheel drive in Trax, but you can in this one right here for about $2,500 more. As we move to the inside, you'll see the design theme also changing up a little bit when it comes to the old style versus the new style. But looking at a Trax versus a Trailblazer, or versus looking at Trax, looking at this Equinox versus a Trax or a Trailblazer, it's all the same design theme now when it comes to the dash parts, the steering wheel, and all those, which is very classy and very nice. Standard. General Motors has been thinking about dropping Android Auto. They've been thinking about dropping Apple CarPlay. It has it in this car as part of the base package. The base package in this car comes with lots of safety features, a whole bunch of things. But when you get the Safety Plus package for $1,085, you get a lot of great things with it too. Backup sensors, pedestrian sensors, and you get that really cool mirror. We'll show it to you on the drive when it comes up. That has video behind you, not a mirror from behind you. A lot clearer, a lot easier to see. Plenty of things about this vehicle, I would say, are industry best, or at least meets the industry standard. And that's really good for Chevrolet after all the years of having vehicles that were basically rental cars and rental fleet cars. Let's go around this thing real quick. On this one here, this is the LS model. You got the chrome accents on the front. If you get the RS, it's all black, and if you get the Active, it's all black. But this is the chrome LS version with the chrome accents all the way down here. This one does have the fog light LED and LED headlights. Pretty cool. This is the base model. The only option this car has is the safety package, and there's not a whole lot of options you can do, and I'll put some of the option list on here. But yeah, 17-inch stock wheels. You can get 19-inch on the RS model, black wheels on those. Color painted mirrors, color painted door handles. All of it is part of the package, part of it. Coming down here, all tinted windows. And then back here, they've even continued the theme of the theme of the taillights, just like with the Chevrolet Traverse, having the split taillights and then coming out from here. Coming to the back here, we have some things in the back here, but look at this. You have at least a full suitcase or 2 double carry-ons. You can put 4 of them in here. Plenty of room in here. Plus, when these go down, it's close to 6 feet of cargo space back here when you are doing that. Plus, it has tie downs here in the front, on the front, and here in the back for your child safety seats. And you can get an aftermarket cover to come right here and lock in for a cargo protection device right there. No automatic door on these, but if you do get the higher package, the convenience package 2, that does come with the auto open and close and all those kinds of things for the extra, you know, $3,000-$4,000 you would spend on the RS or on the Active version. Coming back over here, it's pretty much the same, but I really do like the way they've kept the glass going all the way from the rear through here. If you take a look at the Traverse versus this one, it has the shark fin on both of these now. A lot of great things happening with these, and they've really done a great job for the price point. But you know what's going to make a difference? Let's get this thing on a drive. Let's go out and take a look and see what we can do on the road and see how it feels on the highway. All right, going for a drive here real quick. We're going to be going over and doing just a little tiny bit of freeway and then some city streets. A little bit foggy outside. If you take a look forward there real quick, you'll see that fog in the Central Valley is a thing. So we're going to be being very careful in the fog. We got the lights on. Matter of fact, this one here, if you come down here to the screen right here, I'm going to show you before we take off when we stop here. If you push right here and you go to controls, there is your lighting controls right there, and we're going to turn the fog lights on because this car comes with fog lights. So fog lights are on now. This is just like my GMC AT4 Canyon, because there is no switch. There's no physical switch for lights in this car. That was a big problem for people, not having a physical switch. But you saw how quickly I turned it on. It's just a matter of hitting the button, done. Pretty quick. So it takes a little while to get used to that, and people get used to it. But they have taken some of the design cues from the GMC and Chevrolet Canyon Colorado, and they have taken the light switch out of the car. So a lot of people don't like that. Another thing I want to talk about before we get on the freeway is sales numbers. Right now, they're almost 10% off sales 2025 from 2024. So the old body style sold more than this year's new body style. And the only thing I can attribute to that, because this is a much better car. Chevrolet is not making the rental fleet car anymore. They're actually making a car that people like, and it's attractive. The only thing I can figure is because of the market with Chevrolet right now, you have the Trax, which is their bottom tier crossover SUV. Then you have the Trailblazer, which is $5,000 more. Then you have this one, which is an additional $2,000 to $3,000 more than the Trailblazer. And then you have the Chevrolet Traverse, which is their top line, which runs about $10,000 more than this one does. So you have four SUVs that are crossovers that are in that same market, and something's going to suffer. Because right now, Motor Trend magazine just made the Chevrolet Trax for 2 years in a row their 10 best of the small SUVs. And that's their tiniest one, and that one starts at $24,000. This one here, because it starts at $29,000, is at $5,000 more. I think it's suffering because of the tracks. I can't imagine how it's not. All right, we're up here on the freeway. If we can point forward here, we're going to be up behind this. I'm going to give that little Chevrolet a little bit of a space there, just to see how getting on the freeway and getting up to speed with this 175 and 184 pound-feet of torque engine, which is absolutely fine. We just got done driving this from the high desert in Mojave back to Central California and got 32 miles to the gallon on the highway, which actually is greater than what the window sticker says, which is pretty cool. The window sticker is right at 29, 26, 29. And I can't imagine this thing getting that good of gas mileage in town, but if it does, that's fantastic for a little 4-cylinder turbo. And when it comes to the ride on this thing, it's like you're on, it's like you're on pillows. And you can barely hear the motor. This vehicle with this trim only has single air. If you go to the RS or the Active, you can get dual or tri-zone air, which is pretty nice. Dual zone air for the front here. But for the most part, man, this thing is quiet and just, I don't know. I don't know what to say except for the fact that this thing does not drive like a small SUV. I think it drives more like a, and for the price, right? This one here, stickered at $31,000. And remember, this one did have the safety package add-on. Loaded up, these things come with a lot of stuff. They come with a lot of safety features. But when you add the safety package with the convenience one package that this one has, it gives you the surround view cameras. It gets you this right here, which is really cool. This is the camera rear view mirror, and is that the clearest thing you've, I mean, it's just so clear to see it. It's amazing. And you can adjust that up and down, closer, inner, further out, whatever works best for you. You can adjust it with these knobs right here. For $31,000. You know, we reviewed several of these cars now, but we reviewed the Trax last year. My daughter owns a Trax, and now this one here. I think for the $5,000 difference, you get so much more. Plus, the Trax does not come in all-wheel drive. This one, for $2,500 more, can come in all-wheel drive. So you have two drivetrain options with this one, with that 1.5 liter motor up front for both. But for the $5,000 difference between this and a Trax, you get so much more. And I think really when it comes to the sales this year, these things are just coming out to the market. They're less than 2 months old on the market. When people realize what they've got here, these are going to be a top seller. I mean, up against the RAV4, up against the Nissan Rogue, I think this one here will compete very well with that. Well, we did some freeway time, some city time. We got adaptive cruise control on this car, which is pretty cool. Yep. Adaptive cruise is on right now. Let's see how it takes off when the light turns green. So I've got my feet off the pedals right now. I went up with the with that, and it set it right there at 65. We'll only go as fast as the car in front of us. Let's see what happens when this light turns green. Anyway, when it comes to the cars in that stable, when it comes to SUVs, the Traverse, this one, Trailblazer, and the Trax, they're all stair-stepped about $5,000 apart. And I think this one is sitting right at the right spot at that number 2 position, and you're getting so much more with this car than you get with many, many others when it comes to the displays, when it comes to all the features that happen that way. And there we go. Adaptive cruise is set, and it's driving on its own right now. Is accelerating on its own right now. I'm going to bring down the speed to make it the speed limit here, so in case somebody moves out in front of me, I can't. There we go. So it's tracking the car in front of us, and it should stop here pretty quick. Yeah. It's always fun the first time you do it with a car and you make sure that it works correctly. But there you go. Everything seems to be working great. Yes, and gas mileage is great. Freeway's fun. Let's get back outside the car and we will recap everything we just talked about and kind of give you my overall opinion of what's going on here. For the longest time, and I've said this before, Chevrolet just kind of mailed in their design cues. They've just kind of halfway done it when it comes to making a good car that looks good, drives good, and affordable. And something's going on at GM right now, because between the Trax and this one, the Trailblazer, you have a lot of choices below that $40,000, $45,000 Traverse now. And I am glad Chevrolet has made these decisions to bring better cars to the market, cars that actually compete, and cars that people like to drive and want to be seen in, because for so long they couldn't do that. If you're thinking about getting a smaller SUV right now, please consider the Chevrolet Equinox, because it is one heck of a vehicle for the price. Once again, please subscribe below. If you have any questions, comment below. We'll be happy to answer those for you. And at the end of the day, you know, it's a great day if you can drive some great cars like this and they're coming from an American manufacturer. Thank you for watching Reviews It.